This is collecting game, and this question is actually confusing at the beginning, but let me make it simple. Let's try to look at the example with the explanation. So the first is test cases, and then next one is how many scores that we can have, and then these numbers will be each score. So if you look at it, we're giving, if we start with like 4 right here, and it says we can remove 3 additional elements in the following order. It's because any number or any score is lower than number 4, assuming that we're starting from 4 just like that, then the number 1 is actually less than 4 value, so we can remove it and then it becomes a score. So we're adding up together. So 4 plus 1, and that becomes 5. And our number is becoming 5 instead of 4. So 5, like, think as you're eating the number 1. It was easier for me to think that, let's say, like, I'm not like a snake game. Like there's a 4 size of snake, and then there's a 1 size of snakes, and then these snakes can eat that snakes, then they get bigger, which is 5. And then if 5 also can eat the same size of another number, or you can think as a snake, so they become 10. So that's why right here they are saying it's a 10. And 10 also can eat number 2, so that ends up becoming 12, but 12 cannot eat 20. So we're counting, we're actually giving the output is how many did we eat other numbers. So since we start from the 4, we ate 1 and 2 and 5, so which is 3 of them. So that's why at the index 4 with the same location, you can see there's an output of 3. So in the same logic, if you think about it, 2 can only eat 1, and then it becomes 3, but 3 cannot eat any of other numbers. So since 2 ate only 1, we get 1 output. So if you understand, you can think now 20 can literally eat every other number. So that's why we're getting 4. That's why it becomes. Alright, then let's try to solve which is the best way. First example, we start with 5 of value 20, 5, 1, 4, 2. So if we normally think that the least number cannot eat anything, so output will be always 0, right? And then the maximum number can eat all other numbers like that. So this will always become 4. So which is basically length minus 1. So the easiest way we can think of, actually, we sort it. If we sort it, then what happens? Let me show you. 1, 2, 4, 5, 20. The 1 is 0, 20 is 4. But think about it. 2, as you know, 2 can eat 1, so it becomes 3. So the value is 1. 4 can eat all of them, so which value becomes 4 plus 2 plus 1 is 7. And then we already know that it's going to be always eating the left side, but we are not sure if we're able to eat right side of the numbers, so we'll have to actually look at it, and it is less, so we'll be able to eat that, which becomes 12 later. And since 4 ate 3 of the other numbers, the output will be 3. And then we already calculated basically 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 5 is 12. So 12 is not equal to 20 or bigger, so it is still eating 3 of other numbers. I'm not sure if you can find the pattern yet, but let me tell you what's the pattern it is. So if you look at it here, which is 1, 3, 7, 12, that is actually all the number on the, like, from the beginning. It basically keeps adding. So we can use prefix patterns. So we can create another array that saves prefix. What it means, we're gonna keep adding up and then save the numbers. For example, 1, and then 3, 7, 12, 32. It's because if we save the sum of them, and then all we have to do is actually going backward. What do you mean backward? So think about our 20 is starting here. Actually, never mind. We don't have to start with 20 because the last number will be always the 4, which is, length minus 1. Or you can think as like, since array starts with a 0 index, So their index will be the value for their output, and then this will be always 0. So if we go to backward instead of the left to the right calculating, the backward is actually way easier. Let me show you why. So 20 is always that, and then if we start here, the 5 number always eat 4 on all the left side, and then all we have to do is comparing to the next number, which is 20, not 32, this is prefix. So 12 cannot eat 20, so that's why it's going to be their index, because they ate all the left side. So it will be always at least their index of output. But if they can eat next, that means we're possibly becoming their number, because once we are eating the next number, the rest of the number will be the eating the same amount of it. So if you think about the second index, 7 is at least their index value, and can 7 eat 5? That's the question. Yes, we can. Then it becomes 12, and that means answer will be the same as the next the output of this one, so it becomes 3. Why? Because we already know that this number couldn't make it to the next number, so that's why we don't even have to check. All we have to do is next output, we just copy it, because that's the maximum we can get. And then previous will be the same method. 3 prefix sum, is it bigger than here, bigger than 4? You guys know it is not. So our output is 1, and this is 0, as you know. So this is our output. All we have to do, we're gonna make the output. Oh, how do we make this output just like here? So since we're sorted, we might not know the index, so we have to save value with the index together. So there is multiple way. So you could, it's the simplest way I suggested, is you're gonna create 2D array, just like that, and then you're gonna save both of them. So that will be the size here, and then it will be the 2, something like that. It will be new int. So whenever we're saving it, doesn't matter. I will say, say if we're saving first array of the value, which is start with 0, and then 0, we can put number, like a value, what I meant. And then here will be ending up like an index. So when we are sorting, use number to sort, but we'll leave the index. So when we are saving the output, we're going to save by index in order. We're going to save to the index. That's what we can do. For example, think about, you can create another array too, something like that. It's a bad name, but with the same size. When we're saving, depending on the index, we'll put the value. That's how we're gonna do. All right, now let's start coding.